Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're setting the stage for a massive paradigm shift in how we think about artificial intelligence in the workplace. I mean, we've all been told, right, that AI is here to make everything faster, cheaper, and infinitely more efficient. But as we're going to see today through some incredibly fascinating research by George Sivulka, the reality on the ground, well, it looks completely different. So get ready, because we're going to completely reframe how you look at the AI tools you use every single day.
Okay, let's dive into this. AI was supposed to replace human labor. That was the whole pitch, right? It was supposed to automate away the expensive parts of running a business. But Sivulka's research reveals this totally jarring paradox. It actually did the exact opposite. Get this, for the first time in history, humans are actually cheaper than software. It's wild. We are seeing that as AI scales up, it isn't just eliminating jobs. In a lot of ways, it's creating more of them. The fundamental economics of human versus machine labor have flipped in a way that, frankly, nobody predicted.
To really understand why this is happening, just think about this for a second. We just gave every single employee, even the ones who maybe struggle with basic day-to-day tasks, effectively unlimited headcount and budget. How? In the form of AI tokens. By handing out these AI agent harnesses to everyone across the board, we haven't actually automated tasks. We've just made software vastly more expensive, and honestly, way more chaotic than managing human workers. You are basically giving every person in your company an infinite, completely unmanaged workforce to direct. So here's our roadmap for the explainer today. We'll start with the AI management paradox, look at how tokens are the new employees, discuss finding the 100x token, uncover the politics of AI, explore why evals are the new OKRs, and finally, wrap up with the trillion-dollar opportunity. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The AI management paradox.
You know, throughout history, technology has always solved one massive problem, only to create a completely new one that we then have to figure out. And this brilliantly illustrates that point. The 1830s railroad boom. The advent of the railroad drove this massive infrastructure build-out, with U.S. track mileage literally multiplying 120 times in a single decade. But then, the system just broke. In October 1841, a fatal train collision happened, and it was entirely due to a simple coordination failure. Individual conductors just weren't enough anymore. That catastrophic failure forced companies to invent modern management, defining roles, hierarchies, reporting lines. Well, today, AI is breaking our system in the exact same way. We have all this amazing infrastructure, but we completely lack the management.
Which brings us to Section 2. Tokens are the new employees.
If you shift your focus to the modern day, you'll start to realize that managing AI is actually harder than managing people. And there's a very specific reason for that. AI scales dysfunction instantly. Have you guys heard the term token maxing? It's basically this flawed strategy of just throwing bodies, or in this case, compute tokens, at a problem. People are burning cash on tokens simply because they don't actually know how to use them. The reality is, maybe 1 in 100 employees actually knows how to articulate a process clearly and really empathize with an AI's context window. So when you give the other 99 employees an AI agent, they don't produce brilliant results. They just produce massive, expensive waste.
And that waste? It primarily takes the form of loops. Think of loops as AI agents continuously calling themselves over and over to fix errors that were caused by bad human prompting in the first place. It is literally the AI equivalent of having meetings about meetings. Loops are just a brute force band-aid for human inadequacy. Because a human couldn't articulate the task cleanly, the system just brute forces its way forward. Meaning, you are literally spending tokens on spending tokens. It's a crazy cycle.
Consider the number 80%. Elon Musk famously cut roughly 80% of X's staff, and the company arguably performed better because it eliminated headcount bloat and layers of cogs who were just stamping approvals. Well, just like 80% of mismanaged employees do nothing but create more bureaucracy, 80% of AI tokens today do absolutely nothing. People create more people, and tokens just create more tokens.
When you map it out, the parallels are just perfect. Agent workforces and human workforces fail in the exact same ways. Look at this. Human headcount bloat, that becomes wasted tokens. Human meetings about meetings, those become AI loops. And human empire building inside a corporation, that translates to token looping. Once you start seeing your AI spend as an actual workforce, the sheer amount of mismanagement happening right now becomes glaringly obvious.
All right, Section 3. Finding the 100x token.
So if we are currently mismanaging this brand new workforce, what actually happens when we finally start treating tokens like the real employees they are? Well, first, we have to let go of some initial myths. The big promises of AI kind of fall apart as soon as you look closely. We say AI is accurate, right? But it's only accurate when prompted correctly. We say it's fast, but speed means absolutely nothing if it takes 100 looping retries just to get the right answer. We also thought AI would avoid corporate politics, but instead, it just builds these massive empires of token spend. And honestly, worst of all, it can confidently fail while presenting you with perfectly formatted, totally believable garbage. Unmanaged tokens are a massive liability. So the crucial point is this. We are moving from the era of the 10x engineer to the era of the 100x token. Scaling human workers burns enormous energy. Think about recruiting, onboarding, training. Scaling tokens, on the other hand, is instantaneous. That is exactly why mismanaging them will bankrupt you, but managing them perfectly, that gives you infinite leverage. Humans are cheaper than tokens on average right now, for sure, but good tokens are significantly cheaper at scale. Finding that 100x token, that perfectly crafted, highly leveraged piece of context, is the absolute key to building the next era of dominant companies.
Moving on to Section 4, the politics of AI.
Now, getting those perfect tokens isn't just a technical challenge. It reveals a massive, hidden social friction around AI adoption inside organizations. Because frankly, employees don't want to teach AI systems their secret sauce. There's a major structural conflict happening here. Employees are realizing that these systems aren't just there to magically help them with productivity. For instance, over at Meta, even highly incentivized, stock-owning employees were totally outraged to find out their internal context was being used as training data. And if that kind of pushback is happening at a cutting-edge tech company, just imagine what's going to happen in traditional industries. What we are seeing is that context hoarding is the new job security. It echoes all the way back to medieval guilds keeping their methods a closely guarded secret to protect their livelihoods. I mean, nobody trains their replacement for free. The fascinating, almost tragic reality here is that the people who hold the knowledge to create those incredible 100x tokens have the absolute least incentive to surrender that knowledge to the firm. Think about your own top performers. Emotionally and politically, companies are just wired to reject this technology.
Section 5, evals are the new OKRs. So how do we actually solve this? How do we step up and manage this infinitely scalable, highly politicized workforce? The solution lies in something called evals. Evals are basically the mechanism for defining exactly what good looks like for an AI. It's the process of taking these fuzzy, unspoken human processes and turning them into hard code. Think about why 99% of AI revenue today is in coding. It's because code has built-in evals. Code either runs or it crashes. It's completely binary. The rest of the economy, marketing, sales, operations is fuzzy. To get AI to work there, we have to build evals for those specific domains. Now, what's really interesting about this is the direct translation of management techniques happening here. With humans, we manage output using OKRs, objectives and key results. But with AI, we manage output using evals. The real work of modern management is expressing the qualitative as the quantitative. Because an AI doesn't have common sense, a unique, firm-specific eval suite will rapidly become a company's single most valuable competitive advantage. If you're just running generic evals, you have absolutely zero edge. Finally, Section 6, the trillion-dollar opportunity. Let's look at where the real money is actually going to be made in this new AI economy. Right now, Silicon Valley is completely obsessed with funding neo-firms, these AI-native startups meant to completely replace traditional service companies. But the thesis here is that AI transformation companies will actually be 10 times larger than these neo-firms. Why? Because the greatest AI assets in the world, the deeply differentiated proven processes and massive distribution channels, they still sit inside traditional incumbent companies. The real money isn't in replacing them, it's in successfully encoding their incredibly complex nuances right into AI agents. And this is perfectly illustrated by comparing the Palantir model to traditional SaaS. Traditional SaaS just sells you out-of-the-box software and basically expects you to figure it out yourself. Palantir, however, is a $500 billion business because they hand-build bespoke applications for the enterprise. They sell deep, programmatic business transformation. In an AI-first world, taking a firm's unique nuances and building their custom evals will be the largest economic task of the next decade. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly vital question based on everything we've looked at today. Humans just became cheaper than software. We have handed out infinite, chaotic digital workforces to every single employee. So, who is managing your AI? Having unlimited artificial intelligence at your fingertips is literally useless if you lack the management structure to tell both your humans and your software exactly what to do. It's something to think very carefully about as you build your teams for the future. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.